So first, I wanted to ask you what you do for a living.
I'm an elementary school principal.
Wow.
Yes.
And Santa Barbara.
In Santa Barbara, yeah.
Correct. Okay. And then can you just tell us a little bit about what your case was about?
Yes. I started with Marcos Morales and Morales Law about 18 months ago. It was for divorce from my ex-husband.
Okay. And what was the process like?
To be honest, Marcos Morales was a second attorney that represented me. Before that, I had a previous attorney, spent a bunch of money, gave him a $5,000 retainer. They started the case, but it just kind of didn't go anywhere. And it was at a standstill and nothing was really happening. And I was out of money. So I decided to try to represent myself. And I would get up at 6 a.m. and like go sit at the courthouse. You have to like sign up on and come back the same day. And it was a nightmare. And I tried that for like 6 months, got nowhere, got even more frustrated. And then I started with Marcos Morales Law Firm. And he just, from day one was like, we're going to get started today. We're going to get into the ball, just started the ball rolling right away. And within weeks, we had, meetings and mediations and things like that to get the case rolling. So I had a very good experience. My case was a lot longer and involved than it needed to be. And Marcus was very realistic about telling me that, and was also very realistic of doing anything we could to cut corners to keep costs down, but at the same time, make it effective enough to make sure that it was fair, but at the same time that I was represented in my case.
That's awesome. And how long were you with the attorney before Marcus, before you represented yourself?
So I started with another attorney in 2014, and that attorney represented me for about 6 months.
Okay.
And then after that, it was like, I took a year to try to figure out the system myself, again, trying to figure it out. And so it was a long, long time
Okay.
between the two. But Marcus, I went to him in 2019, and now we're at the beginning of 2021, and it's good.
Yeah. So you're glad you made the switch.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's been a life changer. And because of it, as I've really referred like 3 different people, and their cases are very swift and have just been, really just a positive. I've had no negative reactions from anyone about the people I've sent his way.
That's amazing. And how would you say that Morales Law helped you, or in what ways did we do a good job?
Communication. He uses a software system for lawyers, and so if I ever needed any documentation, if I wanted to go back and reread something, it was there 24/7. I could just log on and I could be able to look at those things. He messages, I don't know when he sleeps. He messages me sometimes 4 or 5 in the morning. He messages me at 7 o'clock at night. He just always was making sure that all my questions were answered. And even though I'm a professional and I deal with the emails and stuff all day, there was so many like law terminology that I'm like, what does this mean? And what's that? And and he never made me feel stupid. He was like, oh, this is what means. This is where we're going with that. So he was always very positive, kind, and also communication. The office staff, like I had a question, or if I just had to change a date or something like that. First of all, they answer the phone all the time. And then when they do answer, everyone's knowledgeable. And then they're like, yeah, hi, how you doing? They're all knowledgeable about your case. And they're willing to help you out and just get it answered rather than, oh, let me get back to you, or let me email you later, or anything like that. I would also say they're a very caring law firm. There was many times where I felt like everything was just breaking down and I was getting super frustrated, and he was always optimistic and was always felt like, okay, we can do this and we can get through this. And he was always caring about it. And I would also say professional. I always was well represented. He was always prepared. The judges like him. Other attorneys respect him. And he never had to ask for a extension, or he was never at a point where he was unable to answer any question that the judge had, and he always had all the documentation needed. And so I always felt like, that I was well represented, and I wasn't like one of the many. It wasn't kind of like, like a cattle call of whatever his cases were. He knew the case and he was the one doing the work.
That's awesome. And so overall, you felt very supported by Morales Law.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm, having a divorce lawyer is something you try not to do more than once in your life, right? Or in my case, I'd never get married again. So it's kind of like I only used them once. So anytime that someone asks me for advice, I always, send them their way because, it's not something you do many times in your life. But he made the experience as positive as it could be. I was very satisfied. And anybody who asked me for anything in regards to divorce, mediation of kids, separation, prenups, anything like that, I send his way because I just feel in good hands with him.
Well, thank you for that. We appreciate you. We enjoyed having you as our client. And thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
No problem. I won't be back, but I'll send anybody else that I could possibly think of his way because, again, I don't think there's anywhere else in town that can do what he's done.
Thank you, Casey.